So I don't know if you're curious or not as to why we titled this course the Gauntlet. It really isn't to make it sound scary, but it is to kind of challenge people to like, look, if you want to build a great relationship, then you got to have some guts. You got to have some courage. Not just these fuzzy little cute feelings that you like somebody. Take some guts. Building a great relationship doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen because you're a nice person and they're a nice person. Like that doesn't get it. You know, probably somewhere around 45% of couples end up divorced. And all of them pretty much started at the same place as all the other people who got married. You start out by just like being like, oh, I love this person. I love being around them. We have fun together. Let's get married. And then 1 year, 2 years, 7 years, 13 years down the road, you're standing before a judge and you might despise each other. And just earlier in your life, you were like, I would die for this person. So you got to have guts. This isn't just because you're a nice person and they're a nice person. That doesn't make it all work out well. So I call it the Gauntlet because it's for people to be courageous and jump into conversations. So we go into this next topic. I want to talk about conflict and what you are like in terms of conflict. Do you despise conflict? Do you run from it as best you can? Are you the kind of person that causes conflict? There are some people, I would say more so the ladies than the men, that are willing to like jump into conflict and like even help cause it. And quite frankly, that sounds scary to some people, but that's probably a pretty good character trait because there's times where conflict needs to happen. If two people disagree about something, someone needs to bring it up and say, we have a problem. Conflict is kind of like a fire alarm, this annoying thing that blares in our ears and wakes us up. And the first thought is, oh my gosh, I'm trying to sleep. But what if there's a fire and that annoying noise is what saves your life? You see, people that kind of embrace conflict and kind of jump right into it and say, we got to do something about this. Your first thought might be, this person's annoying. I don't want to have this conversation. But what if what they're bringing up is something that's going to make your life better, your relationship better, something that's going to take your marriage from being blah to ooh la la? What if it's like that? But then you have other people, tends to be more so men. Us guys tend to be kind of chill. We want to show our toughness and our strength by not letting anything bother us. Oh, I'm good. No, I'm good. And it kind of becomes kind of a personality trait that we kind of embrace, that nothing bothers me. But in reality, there are things that should bother us. If something threatens a friend, if something threatens a relationship, like we should get bothered by that. We shouldn't just pretend, well, it'll get better. It doesn't. So I want to challenge, especially you guys who we just have a tendency, let's be honest about this, as men, we tend to be conflict avoiders. And when we avoid conflict, what we're really avoiding is great possibilities to change for the better. Conflict is an opportunity. It's how we get better. So people that avoid conflict, quite frankly, are not prepared for marriage. Now, don't let that scare you off. It doesn't take a long time to learn how to navigate conflict better. Compare it to going to the lake when you're a kid and you want to swim, but you put your toes in the water and you're like, ooh, I can't do this. That's kind of what conflict is like. Conflict is like, oh, I don't want I can't jump into that conversation. I can't go there. That's too uncomfortable. But you know what it's like when you just get in the water and you just get past those difficult steps that you know are coming. And once you just get in, you're like, okay, I can deal with this. The next thing you know, it's comfortable and you're playing and you're having fun and you're enjoying it. And the next time you go to the lake, you're like, okay, the first couple steps, the first minute or so is going to be a little uncomfortable, but then you're like, you know what? This is going to work for me. This is great. And so some people, when it comes to conflict, they are the type of person they spend a lifetime, literally a lifetime, only sticking their toes in the water and then they step out. That is not a personality style. That is called a person that's not prepared to be capable of building a strong relationship. I just want to be honest with you. And I want you to know that you can jump into the waters of conflict and learn how to navigate it. And it will greatly benefit your marriage. Greatly benefit. It'll help you in the workplace. It'll help you in all of your relationships if you're not afraid of conflict. You don't have to be. It's a normal part of life. Let me give you a mindset that might help with this. For some people, when conflict comes up between them and someone else, they think, oh no, this means I've done something wrong. And so when we avoid conflict, what we're really trying to avoid is the appearance or thought that anything about me is wrong. What if instead you view conflict between you and your spouse as being a normal thing that is absolutely going to happen? But what if you look at it as something that happens to the both of you instead of coming from each other? What if you view it that way? Now, ultimately, in conflict, one or both of us need to change something. But the presence of conflict does not mean necessarily that either person is failing. Conflict is the regular rhythm of life. If me and my wife have a disagreement about something, it doesn't mean that something's wrong with her. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It just means in building a relationship, this is normal to happen. Here's the conversation I want you to have with each other. I want you to ask each other this question. When's the last time you had a conflict with someone? How did you handle it? Ask each other that question and dive in. Make them give you details. How did you deal with it? How did you talk to that person? Did you avoid conflict? I want you to ask each other this question. Are you the kind of person that like jumps into conflict because you want to help bring change? Or are you the kind of person that avoids conflict? Ask each other. Just be honest about each other. So that's your homework. Do that and then come back in a day or so and let's do the next video. Have a great day.